Hi all, Tim Ferriss here. I'm going to answer a question about relationships. I may or may not be qualified to answer this, but it's more of a suggestion. Topics on how you consciously improve your relationship, and that would be with your significant other, even when things are really good. How to dig up uncomfortable topics with your partner and willfully engage in them. That's an important part. Finances, emotions, empathizing, getting from 75 to 90% or 99% in terms of relationship quality. That's from Frank. All right. So I'm going to suggest a number of tools that have been helpful to me and helpful to my girlfriend, but it's important to keep in mind we've been in a relationship for 3 years, so you may want to talk to people who have more experience, both with clients and in their own relationships. A couple of recommendations. You can go to tim.blog/podcast and listen to interviews that I've done with Esther Perel. She's fantastic. You can listen to the second interview I did with Brene Brown, also outstanding. Both of these touch on a lot of relationship tools and dynamics. And Jim Detmer, D-E-T-H-M-E-R also, where we talk about the first tool I want to discuss, and that is The Work by Byron Katie. And The Work is a sequence of steps you can take to question beliefs. And you can use this in your own life. You can use this in a couple's context. But if you're upset about something, if you are sensitive about something, it really just takes your beliefs, these thoughts we take to be true, and puts them under a microscope. And the steps in brief are, can I know this is true? Whatever that belief is. Can I absolutely know this is true? That's number 2. And then some variation of, who am I when I have this belief? What do I feel? How do I react, etc.? And then the last is, who would I be without this belief? How would I feel without this belief? And I'm simplifying for the purposes of this video, but you can find all these steps and more on Byron Katie's website for The Work. And I suggest you take a look at it because it is very difficult to engage with difficult topics if you are easily triggered. If you are already lobster red with a psychic sunburn of some type where if even the slightest poke will set you off. So The Work is really helpful both before conversations and after. If you're really fired up in a conversation and you think your partner is selfish or that they are entitled or fill in the blank, whatever it might be, it's very helpful to go through this process, a part of which is called turnarounds. So a turnaround is taking the belief, let's just say it is, so-and-so is entitled, and then you will change that phrase and you'll have to pick or find, say, 3 pieces of evidence to support it as a thought exercise. The way you turn it around, there are multiple formats. Instead of so-and-so is entitled, you might say, I am entitled. And then you come up with 3 pieces of evidence or more. And then you might turn around and say, so-and-so is not entitled. And you come up with 3 pieces of evidence to support that. And so on and so forth. And going through this process is incredibly valuable because it trains you to scrutinize these things you take to be true. And very often, as soon as you start to poke and prod, you realize that they're not as defensible as you initially thought. So that's tool number 1. Tool number 2 would take very seriously how you communicate, the words you use. NonViolent Communication, I think it's Marshall Rosenberg, we'll have the correct name and so on in the description if I mess that up, was recommended to me by Neil Strauss, the 8-time, maybe 10-time New York Times bestselling author and a friend of mine, which he found very helpful. And it's really just a format, again, a template for communicating in a way that is less likely to provoke a strong negative emotional reaction, right? So one approach to that is really owning just about everything and making it that which a video would record. So when X, Y, and Z happened, or when I see X, Y, and Z, something that is beyond debate, the facts, I feel A, B, and C, also beyond debate, I feel A, B, and C, right? The story I make up around that is blah, 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 right? So you're calling it a story, which also is less accusatory. So the story I make up around it is that you don't care about how I feel, so you're leaving the dishes undone, right? To use a cliched example. And I have a need for blah, 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 whatever it might be, right? Safety, to feel heard, who knows what it is. The story is my story. I understand I could be making it up, I probably am, but would you be willing to X? And the X is a specific request. This is important. It's a specific ask. because otherwise you're just complaining. And it's very easy to get into a spiral, to lock horns and just go nowhere with your partner if you're simply pointing out problems. And this is super common. I mean, my girlfriend and I do it all the time. But as a practice, we are trying to condition ourselves to always have a specific ask. Would you mind doing A when you do B? Taking 5 minutes to do that. Then you can have a discussion about it. But it's presented in a way that isn't poking someone in the chest, making a value judgment. So those are a few basic, or I should say fundamental tools that are incredibly powerful and versatile that you can apply both to your relationship and to your life overall. So I hope you find them useful.